walk you through DevilSpeak's mic setup on the drums. So I have a U87 here picking up the room. I put it in a figure of 8 position, or polar pattern, so it's picking up like this. I've specifically pointed the null at the drum kit so that it makes it picks up the room, side reflections, and doesn't pick up the direct sound of the kit. It's a Neumann U87. In the kick drum, I have Sennheiser 902. I have a Beta 91 on the inside, and I'm using a homemade sub-kick mic that I designed. It's just a speaker attached to a microphone cable, basically. And so the Beta 91 gives me a bit of clack. This gives me a bit of click and oomph, and this gives me low sub that I can use in the slower double kick parts or something like that. On the overheads, I got a really good drum picture just without having any other mics, using Coles. I think they're 4038s. So they're ribbons, which means the cymbals are not too bright, and they also pick up in a figure of 8 polar pattern. So it means I'm picking up the whole room, the reflections from the ceiling coming back. So it's quite an open, old school drum sound. I decided not to cover it with the baffles and like I did last time. On the cymbal spots, I'm using Neumann KM84, KM85, KM85, and KM84. The KM85s have a high-pass filter built into them, and the KM84s are flat-ish, or they just don't have a low-end roll-off. They're really cool because they're shiny, but they also skip a lot of the drum kit. They listen to very much the cymbal and not so much the rest of the kit. So they're quite direct. So that would be one on the hat, spot for the cymbal, one on the ride, which picks up the china as well. On the toms, I have the classic MD41 Sennheisers. Can't go wrong there. MK2, so the new generation. And for the snare, I did something quite unusual for myself. I tried the Heil PR40. This has a lot of meat and quite a lot of thwack to it. So getting the snare crisp sound to come through and the low end at the same time. And when he was blast beating, I thought sometimes the snare was a bit too soft. So I taped as close as I could get the diaphragms to be together. I taped AKG C451 onto it just to get a bit more of the sensitive hits. And at the bottom of the snare, I have an EV PL84 vocal condenser mic that's also very direct and gets very little spill of the rest of the kit. That's the great thing about the Heil on the top of the snare as well. It's got quite a good rejection. What we try to do as well is lift up the cymbals to keep them further away from the kit and get more, with the shell mics, to get more of the shell and less of the cymbals. So poor Francois had been playing with a kit with cymbals floating far above him. So that's the microphone setup for DevilSpeak's drum kit at Milestone Studios in South Africa. Yeah, so enjoy. Hope you like the recording. Jethro over and out.